Maine Knows Howe. Brought to you by A&G Shooting, Modern Woodmen of America, Mainly Handrails, Pine Grove Programs, Digital Spirit Media, and J.W. Parks Golf Course. Maine Knows Howe.
Welcome back to Maine Knows Howe. We're with our special guest and friend and brother, Randy Flannery. Thank you, Randy, for coming again.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, you always hear people in deer camp, and what are they always telling? I bet you've never heard a deer story before.
No.
Never heard one?
Never had.
I can't even imagine that you've had your own deer stories.
Oh, yeah.
You are Mr. Deer. I don't
know about that.
Well, I don't know. Field and Stream and those boys seem to think you're Mr. Deer. There must be something different than your average deer story that you could share with us.
I would be glad to, but let me tell you this. I am not fit to shine my grandfather and my uncle's shoes when it comes to deer. They were literally deer slaying machines. So I thank God I had them. They taught us who wanted to learn, and what a blessing. And it's a passion,
Yeah, that's what it is. Anything that we do well is a passion that God gives us. He puts it in us. We didn't invent it, and we can't make that kind of passion.
That's exactly.
It has to be put in you.
That's exactly right. I had a guy come hunt with us, and he was using a 7 mag, which is a great caliber. But I told him, use the heaviest bullet you can find for it, right? And he's, well, I've shot a lot of deer with, I forget what grain bullet, but a lighter bullet. I said, well, you're not going to be shooting far. You're going to be shooting up close. You're going to, I tried my best, because this is a learn to track and stock hunt. So I'd rather than bring a iron-sighted lever.
Now, is that something that you sell specifically?
Yeah.
Learn to track and stock?
Yeah. Matter of fact, Dan Schmidt from Deer and Deer Hunting, who's a good man. Dan said years ago that we are the only outfitter in North America that actually teaches people how to go after their deer
while they're doing it.
Yep.
That's amazing. Now, is that a premium thing that I buy? Is it different than a regular? I'll pay you to come play in your woods versus.
Yeah, but keep in mind.
That's awesome.
But keep in mind, the people that come on to learn to track and stock hunt, they go home. Whether they shoot a deer or not, they go home and use the techniques we taught them, and have much more success. We have, one guy, give you a good example, Ed Shin from Pennsylvania. He was a bolt action scoped. He now hunts with a 375 Winchester. He's killed 8 or 9 up there with us. He's killed 14 in his home state of Pennsylvania.
So you go home with something, regardless. When you have that kind of a hunt, you're coming home with something.
Yeah.
Keep going. Give me a story.
Okay, so this guy had a 7 mag. I tried to get him to bring a fast shooting gun. I am bringing a fast shooting gun. I'm bringing a laser. He says, it shoots fast. The bullet's going fast. I said, well, you need something you can, a lever or a pump with iron sights, but anyways, I've shot everything with this. Well, we get on this buck track, and we tracked it for hours, and it went into a plantation, what we call a plantation, rabbit cover, and we stayed on his track, and we're getting to the other side of it where it's opening up into hardwoods, and there's the buck, and he's standing there broadside. at about less than 100 yards, right? Chip shot. And standing there. You know, usually when you're tracking a buck, you're shooting at something moving.
They're running.
You know?
They're running.
Well, he shoots at the deer, and it didn't hump up. It didn't mule kick. It didn't act like it was hit at all.
Missed it, clearly.
So missed it clearly. So we walk over there, and there's no blood, no hair. I know I hit that deer because he repeatedly told me he never misses.
Yeah.
Which is a whole other story.
Yeah, I never do either.
I said, of course you got to make sure. Right. So we tracked the thing for another half mile, nothing. So I said to him, you clearly missed.
Yeah.
Okay. You clearly missed. He says, there's no way I missed that deer. There's no way. I says, okay. Okay.
Go get it for me.
Yeah. So as we're walking, he says, where are we going? I says, we're going this way. It's later in the day. And as we're walking, he says, hey, I know what happened. I says, you do? He says, yeah. He says, you don't understand how fast that bullet's going. He said, I'm here to tell you, Randy, that bullet was going so fast, it went right through him and it cauterized the wound.
Oh, my word.
Could happen.
I've heard them all, but this is a new one.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. That, and I just shook my head and laughed, and I'm like, okay,
boy.
Your story. Yeah,
it's your story.
Your story.
Stay away with it. Take that home with you.
Oh yeah.
What about you, Robert?
Oh,
you haven't heard any deer stories.
No, I've been guiding for 50 years. There's a lot of deer stories.
You have socks older than I am.
I know. And some unique stuff, but I don't hunt very often.
Yeah.
Because I always have customers.
Yeah.
And we don't hunt the same style as Randy does.
Right.
I have 116 stands out, 45 ground blinds, and 14 huts, because most of the hunters can't stalk.
I've listened to Randy's seminars, and I am the opposite of the way that Randy.
And there's nothing wrong with it.
I have been an assassin all of my life, and I've done all the homework ahead of time to figure out where my assassin point is going to be, and that takes as much skill in doing that as it does walking through the woods and tracking.
No question.
But it's wonderful that we can.
Because you earned that deer.
Absolutely.
You earned that deer.
Absolutely.
You did all the legwork.
Go ahead, Bob. Sorry.
We grew up hunting the same deer. All right? My dad hunted with a .357 Magnum. He had to be close.
Yeah.
And he didn't go all over the woods.
Yeah.
He would strategically knew that there was does in this area.
Where they eat, they drink.
And nobody was bothering him.
Yeah.
And we would drive up there, and he'd get out and go, wind's wrong, go home.
Yeah.
We would go back home. I'd say, he's got here. Nope, wind's wrong. You teach him that you're here, game over. You ain't never going to see him again. So this is how we learned to hunt, is to hunt. He hunted one buck until he shot that buck. Completely different.
Yeah.
Talent.
Because he would know that buck was going to keep coming to those does until they came into heat, into estrus, and then he would stay with them.
Yeah.
And he knew where he'd had them patented, where they were going through this rock wall every day going to a bedding area.
Yeah.
We cannot go in that bedding area. You go in there and it's game over.
Yeah.
So this is why all these stands are put places where, like sometimes I'll put a guy in a stand, he'll come out and say, there ain't no sign. There's nothing in there, Bob. I say, no, it's the first time in your life you're on the right end of the deer. Now, do you want to shoot a big buck or do you want to shoot a little deer? I'll put you in a place.
You just don't willy-nilly throw stands in the woods.
That's
Every
not.
one of those stands have a reason why they're there.
No doubt.
We
in
hand
that
built
spot.
them, we cut them, we put them in there, and I'm looking for that buck that's traveling between doe groups.
Yeah.
And he's going to check.
Yeah.
And them bucks are going to go check all these does.
Yeah.
And you might not shoot the biggest buck in the area,
Yeah.
but they all use those certain areas to travel where they have the advantage.
Yeah.
And once you learn to identify that,
That's right.
you will see more deer. But it's very hard to teach people that.
I'm a bow hunter. I'm a sick bow hunter.
Yep,
and so everything that I'm dealing with is preferably 20 yards. So I have to really raise my game, scent control, wind control, where they're feeding, where they're traveling when I go and pick that stand.
So lots of times we'll spend the summer traveling either on dirt bike, Jeep, and I'm looking for pods of does that do not leave this area. Their home range is not very big. And I will go to an area knowing
Find
that
the girls or find the boys.
they're coming.
Or the boys will find the girls.
Depending on, never mind. And I will go and clean an area and prepare it to rattle. My thing, I never advertised what I do, but I'm a grunter and a rattler. And I have people that come on a one-on-one hunt, and we will go from rattle spot to rattle spot. And I don't want to go in that piece of woods. I just want to be on the outside edge where the wind is in my advantage, and that deer has a way to try to circle me.
That's exactly right.
And I put my hunter down there, and then I will, depending on how late in the season, how aggressive I rattle or grunt, and let him come to me. Now, the hunter has the opportunity to shoot what he wants. He might shoot a spike on, a crotch on, an 8-pointer, but it's up to him.
Yeah.
It's his hunt. Yeah. It's a one-on-one hunt.
Boy,
you let those go, and there's not one right here today, but the next cover I go, there might be. So I try to go to 5 places a day because it takes a while to let the woods calm down once you move in. And then I rattle really slow in the beginning, then I'll pick it up, then I slow it back down again. And by this time it's 2 hours. And then backing out of there. Lots of times, it's happened to me so many times after you're done rattling, that next hour is when will come sneaking in to see what's going on. That's worked for me.
You taught me a long time ago if you're calling or using rattles or calls, those animals hear that from a long ways away.
They got sonar.
They live in those woods, and they've got all day to get there. They don't have a bus to catch.
They don't have to eat lunch.
They don't have to eat lunch. So how many times we have walked out of the woods, or hunters have walked out of the woods while the animal was on his way into you just because you didn't stick it out.
Not only that, they'll come right to where you were calling from.
Yeah, yeah.
Right to the exact spot. They got sonar. A moose and elk have the same thing.
I was with moose hunters, and those guys just wanted to go to spot to spot to spot to spot. And by the second day, I said no. I said I'm staying right here. We're anchoring right here. And I bought 2 nice bulls down off the mountain that we harvested because I would wait that moose out because I remembered I heard Bob Howe in my head saying they're not in any hurry to get there, and I'm in this valley where they can hear all over. I'm going to wait it because I could hear him grunting.
He likes to travel at night.
That's
a lot more than during the day.
Yeah.
Looking to save on utility costs? True Enterprises is a local solar installation team with over a decade of experience delivering custom energy solutions across Maine. Whether you're powering a home, business, or large-scale project, True handles everything, from design and installation to long-term support. They make the process simple and the results reliable. Call today for a free estimate or visit trueenterprisesllc.com.
I'd be remiss. I was thinking about this. Can I tell another bear story?
Absolutely.
We went to Alaska, Kodiak Island, which has the largest population of brown bears that there are. And we floated the Karluk River. It's loaded with bears. And it was the first time in my life that I felt so humbled that I was not the alpha predator or the alpha male in the neighborhood. We were fishing for king salmon with swale grass behind us that was 10 to 12 feet tall. Mm-hmm. And we've heard bear story after bear story. When you land in the airport in Kodiak, Alaska, there is a big glass mount with a 10-point buck and a bear hovering over the buck. When you look carefully at the inscription, it says that deer was 220-pound deer. This was an 11-foot bear. So that's how you start your trip thinking about these bears. So when you're on the river casting, those bears could come out of that grass at any time. You just never know that bear was there.
At 35 miles an hour.
Yeah, at 35 miles an hour or sneak. It doesn't, you know. Yep. So the bears were such a threat that they had 3 armed guards. Okay, someone was on duty all the time while you were fishing. Mm-hmm. So the first night, we're sleeping in the tent, and Harry had gone out to take a leak, and I woke up and I'm thinking, yeah, I got to go too. And he comes back in and he says, you don't want to go out there. I go, why? He says, there's a bear out there. And he says, I was standing out there and I was looking at this bush and the bush moved. So Harry comes back in, gets in the sleeping bag, and in minutes he's snoring. I'm still laying there with a problem. I've got to go pee. And I could hear that bear running up and down in the river, chasing the fish. And I'm in a tent made out of nylon. Yeah. And there's an 11-foot bear maybe out there, right? Couldn't figure out what to do. I'll pee in my waders. Yeah, I've got my waders in the tent. I'll pee. No, I have to fish in those in the morning. I'm not going to do that. I'll pee in this Ziploc bag. I'll pee in the Ziploc bag and seal it and I'll be fine. Okay, took care of that problem. But now I'm still hearing this bear and I'm freaking out. Harry's snoring. How do you go to sleep when there's a big bear out there? So I ended up putting my earplugs in and went to sleep. So we get up the next day and we're going down the river and there are some Aussies down there that had been there 3 days prior, but they were camping in all they had was a tarp over them. And we said, well, where's your tent and where's your gear? They said the bear got it the night before. I said, what do you mean? Well, we'd caught fish that day. And when you fish with the guides up there, they won't let you keep the fish until the last day, all right? Because you don't want any scent that will attract these bears. Well, first day into their trip, they caught some fish. The bears smelled some fish, came in and attacked their tent, wrecked all their tent, all their gear. That night, they went and found a trapper's cabin, sheltered in the trapper's cabin, and during the night, a bear came to the cabin and was clawing on the walls and the door to get into that cabin. So nonetheless, these guys are just freaked out, scared to death. So we are the next to the last day on the river. One of our fellows in the camp decided he was going to violate the rule and keep a fish. But he was going to be clever. He was going to take his fish and he was going to put a rope through the gills and he was going to anchor it on the bottom of a pool in the river. Well, that night, bear came in, got the scent all over the ground, found the bear in the pool and took it. So the rule was never to go further than 100 yards from the guides that had the guns that were guarding for bears. Well, we were fishing and Harry hooked onto a 50-pound king and it's just ripping out all the line. And I'm filming him and we're going downriver, downriver, downriver. Pretty soon we're 200 yards out. We're past the rule zone of 100 yards. We land this fish. We hold the fish up and we're just very proud and we got it all on camera and doing all that stuff. And as soon as we landed that fish, we heard voices way up the river going, yeah, yeah. And yeah, we were pretty proud. We had this big giant fish. No, that's not what they were saying. They were saying, bear, bear. Well, while Harry and I were doing the shenanigans, a big brown bear came across the river and started coming up the river back to the camp where it had dinner last night with the fish that was in the pool. We had no idea that that was happening. We look up and we see this brown bear coming. So we decide it's best if we run. So we take off running, fishing pole. I've got the front of the net. We're going to keep this fish. 50-pound king, those big salmon nets, right? Harry's got the other end of it. I've got my camera. I've got one of those long raincoats. And it was like a dream. Like I'm running in slow motion that I can't run fast enough. That bear could catch us in a second, right? Just like that, right? But it's just yawning. But my mind, he's in full pursuit. We're running. I fall in a hole. I fall down, and camera and everything, and I need some help getting up. Harry just runs by me, fish and all. And I'm yelling at Harry, drop the net, because the bear would stop at the fish, right? No, he just leaves Andrew in the dust. We get back to camp. The guides tell us all to get in a circle. Everybody get in, and they circled around us. And that bear came up, and I've got this all on video. He comes through the alders, and like the story I told before, the alder trees are moving back and forth and back and forth. The guides go out to meet the bear, and I'm filming there. The bear comes out of the woods, and they all draw down on the bear. The bear stops, sits down on his haunches, and he looks at one guide, looks at the other guide, looks at the other guide, and looks back, and decides he doesn't want anything to do with any of it, and he turned and left. But I'll tell you what, when you're in an environment and you're not the alpha male, it is really a humbling. So that's my bear story.
Good story.
Why don't we take a break, and we'll be back after these messages from our sponsors.
A heartfelt thank you to Hawk's Lobster in Harpswell, Maine, for their generous contribution to this year's Lobster Bake fundraiser benefiting Pine Grove programs. Your support is greatly appreciated. I encourage everyone to support those who back Pine Grove programs. Make sure to stop by Hawk's Lobster in Harpswell, Maine. Once more, thank you guys.
We're wrapping down towards the end of this show. Do you have a Bob Howe story?
Oh, I got lots.
Give me your best Bob Howe story.
Well, I don't know if it's my best Bob Howe story because I got lots and lots and lots. Like when I was having outboard motor troubles, okay, and going crazy, and Andrea called Sharon for some reason, or Sharon called Andrea because we are family. And she told Andrea in conversation that I was going crazy because I had a couple of outboards that...
They can be so frustrating.
Oh, yeah.
Those freaking things.
Oh, yeah.
Just leave them in the pond.
No question. No question. Well, let me tell you something. 4 hours later, I'm talking 25 years ago, 4 hours later, my brother here pulls in the yard with a couple of outboards.
All the way to Danforth?
All the way to Danforth.
Gee.
Pulls in the yard with a couple of outboards because he knew I needed them. So I got lots and lots of Bob Howe stories, but I'll tell you one that's pretty funny because you got to understand also that my son Scott and his son Heath, and Heath works for me a lot.
Yeah.
They are like Bob and I.
Yeah.
They love each other.
Yeah.
They're
peas in a pod.
They're them two. They used to terrorize the sportsman shows when we were kids.
Yeah.
When they were kids.
Well, look who their parents are for crying out loud. I just saw a recent Ozzy Osbourne thing about their kids just going crazy out of line, and they looked at one another and go, well, look who their parents were.
Exactly. Exactly.
You'd be down a booth, right? They were away. They were messing around together. And I go by and go. They were harassing somebody in a booth. I don't know. It was a bass fisherman.
Oh yeah. They were in their early teens,
Yeah.
or younger. One time we were rabbit hunting. I used to come down to hunt with Bob. I'd bring some of my dogs. He'd come up with me and bring some of his dogs up there, especially if conditions were different. And we were guiding some guys. And this is back when we were using the old Johnson telemetry, right? And,
No, that was the TV antenna on the roof. Turn it this way.
And this is when these boys were young. And we're on snowshoes, the snow's deep, and we can't get a beep.
No.
The dogs are that far, right? So Bob says, boys, go get them dogs. And they ain't very big, right? And Scott says, Dad, I says, you ain't gone yet. Right? So they took off. Them two boys took off like rabbits themselves.
Yeah.
And they're gone. And soon as Bob said it, the hunters that were here, they were from New York City, I believe, and they were looking at each other like, can't believe we're sending these two young kids on snowshoes in the wintertime to go look for these dogs. And that was after we said, oh, they're way off. They're way off.
Yeah.
So then 20 minutes goes by and they're talking amongst themselves, the hunters, and then 40 minutes goes by and finally one of them said,
getting ready to call DHS.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Aren't you worried about them kids? No, they'll be fine. Bob and I told them. They said, then a little while later, 15, 20 minutes later, it goes, them kids are going, aren't you worried about them getting lost? And there's a group of them.
Yeah.
I said, so we didn't answer, and then they're like, then another half hour goes by. They're going to starve. They're going to starve out there. They're going to starve, right? So anyways, they all come over at once like they wanted to give us a lecture, right? Yeah. They come to me and Bob, and I couldn't help myself. They said, you guys aren't you worried about your kids? Aren't you worried about them kids are getting lost? So I says, can't help myself. I says, well, if they get themselves lost, I reckon they're going to have to get themselves unlost, right? And of course, they're looking at each other, and the kids were gone for a couple hours.
Yeah.
And finally, we hear them laughing, because let me tell you, even to this day, when Scott and Heath are together, it's constant laughter.
Yeah.
It's like them boys love each other. They love being together, and they're like two peas in a pod.
Yeah.
Neither one of them are right.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
Neither one of them. And
genetics.
Oh, yeah. And we could hear them laughing and giggling as they come, but sure enough, they come back with the dogs. And what's so funny is them guys were so scared for our kids.
What feedback was he given?
Oh, he didn't really say much. He said, they'll be all right.
Yeah.
Don't worry about them boys. They were raised in this. Don't worry about them boys.
These guys weren't leaving the trail.
Oh, yeah.
Those guys.
Yeah, yeah.
They stayed right there.
They don't, they didn't grow up like we did. All of us grew up at 7 in the morning.
Yeah.
We would leave the house and go to the woods.
Yep.
And we'd come back at supper time.
Yep.
And that's where we went and played with all our friends, and that's what we did.
And the thing of it is, too, and not trying to brag, but I am. You're not. It's impossible to find two better woodsmen than Scott and Heath.
Right.
I can tell you.
Oh, yeah.
I can tell you right now.
Those guys.
You ain't keeping.
Well, I don't know. Randy and Bob would give those boys.
We'll never keep up with them.
Well, back in the day. back in the day. Yeah.
Maybe then.
Hey, Bob, you got a Randy story.
Oh, absolutely.
Give me a good one. Juicy.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Come on.
This is a juicy one.
I didn't do it.
Give me a juicy one.
I had
Let me call the attorneys first.
I had 27 rabbit hunters.
Yep.
Right? Quite a few people to move around.
That's a lot of people to babysit.
So we separated the groups. So I needed more guides. Randy, I said, you want to come over and give me a hand guiding? Yeah, I'll come over.
Did you know what end of the snowshoe to put on first?
Well,
Once he tied them for me.
Well, no, it was even worse than that. I put him in a cabin, right? Because that place was all full of people.
Yeah.
And him and Uncle Steve, right, staying in the cabin.
And Heathy.
And Uncle Steve chalked that wood stove full. And he comes up. Nobody can live in this damn thing. It's like,
This cabin's only, I don't think it's 200 square feet.
right, small. He had it in there 150 degrees. Randy, they had the doors open. Steam is rolling out of the place. It's like 20 below. Out. They're standing outside. Let the room cool off. So he told me this in the morning. So we separated groups, and Randy was with me, and we were rabbit hunting, and they shot a few rabbits. We always have a cookout every day. So we're
Tailgate lunch.
Tailgate lunch, but we were on snowmobile. No, we were on a tailgate.
Yeah.
The other guys had the snowmobiles. And Randy says, all right, I can cook. So he's cooking away. And the guys we had were guys that lived in Mass, and they were really nice men. But they were big guys, And they started eating hot dogs. And then they ate some more hot dogs. Then they ate some more hot dogs. He says to me, oh, we're running out of hot dogs. We've been through 28 hot dogs. He says. And they ate every hot dog.
and anything else they could get their hands on.
Yeah. Oh, my God. We had so many hot dogs, I don't even know.
And
One guy probably ate 15.
No kidding.
He had salt pork. And then they had dessert.
You do all the fixings.
Oh, my God. I was laughing. I got a picture of him standing there cooking away.
It's the adventure around the adventure that brings the memories and the stories and the laughs, huh?
Yeah.
The next time I came up to rabbit hunt. And,
you brought your own hot dogs.
And Uncle Steve was in the cabin and has it like a sauna. I was prepared. I brought 2 sleeping bags, a mummy bag and a regular bag, both 40 below, for when I guided out west.
Yeah.
I went in the snowshoe barn at one of the garages and I found a top. You remember this? I went out on top of the snow. It's 20 degrees out, right? I went out on top of the snow, laid the sleeping bag. I only used one, but I laid the sleeping bag and I rolled myself in the top, and that's where they found me in the morning, sleeping on the snow, because I was not going in that cabin again. Oh yeah.
I don't know how many times I've been trapped in a hot cabin. There's nothing.
And what's funny is Bob and Heath, and I forget who was here, Dave Atwood, I think, at the time. Yeah. They all come out because they couldn't pull the hunters. Bob says, that goober's out there sleeping on the snowbank. Right? And they said, oh, Randy, no way. Next thing I know, I hear all these guys out talking. I'm still rolled up in the tarp, and he's got all the hunters out there looking at me like I was out of my mind.
They probably thought he drank too much that night.
No, Uncle Steve had a cigarette in his mouth and his underpants standing in the doorway. Nice in here, Randy. Uncle Steve is my brother. That's what we call him.
We love him.
Oh, my God.
Well, Randy, if you got folks out there that were interested to come learn more about what you do, about hunting techniques, maybe go fishing, go on a bear hunt, how do they get a hold of you guys?
Well, first of all, let me say this. I have always thought, me, Sharon, and my family, and Bob and Andrea and their family, we have always said that we basically run one business out of 2 locations. So for 30 years, we have been sending people back and forth to one another because if they're going to go with anybody else, I want them to come here.
Yeah.
Why? His character. His knowledge.
He's a character.
He's a character.
I got
his
that.
knowledge. So anyways, I can't begin to tell you how many people we've sent to each other over the years. Yeah. It's immeasurable. I have his brochures in my lodge.
So Wilderness Escape Outfitters in Danforth is where you put your pegs down.
Right.
And you operate out of there, full lodge.
On Upper Hot Brook Lake.
Rental boats, full guide service, everything's there.
Yep.
What about if they wanted to hear some of your seminars that you do? Where the type of cities and locations you end up in during your tour?
Like this past winter, I was in 37 states in 4.5 months. I was as far north as Minnesota and as far south as Natchez, Mississippi.
How do they find these? Would they go like the Field and Stream website?
Yeah,
and
look at anything to do with the NRA or Field and Stream Outdoor Life. That's who I'm usually doing seminars for.
So if there's a seminar with those folks putting it on, more likely you're going to show up.
More than likely, Kansas City. I mean,
that's awesome.
All over.
Do you get to take Sharon with you?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
She doesn't go to a lot of I do a lot of private seminars too. You do
churches and stuff, right?
I do a lot of churches and VFWs and American Legions and.
But on the big tours, she can go along with you.
Oh yeah.
What a wonderful thing to be able to share that.
It absolutely is. Although, she's sick and tired of listening to me to begin with. So
I heard your seminar twice and I'm done. You know what I mean? If I had to hear that one more time.
Smart man.
If I had to hear that one more time.
Smart.
Hey, listen, thank you so much for coming up here today and being part of this. Being part of the family.
Thank you guys for being you and for all you do.
Well, it's good for the folks to get to know you beyond just, the hunt fish guy. And that's why we love you, the brother.
Well, right back at you.
You are.
Right back at you.
Have a great day, folks. Thank you for tuning in. Maine Knows How. We'll see you next month. Hey, listen, like us, right? We all like us. Give us some thumbs up. Tell some friends about it. The more people that watch this makes our sponsors very happy. And to make this all happen, we have to have sponsors. And we appreciate you tuning in. See you next month.
Maine Knows How. Brought to you by A&G Shooting, Modern Woodmen of America, Mainly Handrails, Pine Grove Programs, and J.W. Parks Golf Course. Digital Spirit Media. Maine Knows How.